What were the causes of the French Revolution? The Grand Palace of Versailles, seen here, surrounded by gardens and waterways, was one of the most extravagant palaces ever built. Its rooms, embellished with priceless art, like the Hall of Mirrors, gives us a hint of the grandeur of the kings of France. However, as the royals enjoyed the opulence here and splurged on parties and balls, draining the treasury, France faced an unprecedented economic crisis. So in 1774, when Louis XVI ascended the throne of France, he found the state treasury empty. Long years of wars in Europe and France's support to 13 American colonies to gain independence from rival Britain had cost a lot of money. The situation was further worsened as money continued to be splurged on the beautification of the Palace of Versailles. To meet basic expenses such as maintaining the army, the court, running government offices and universities, the state resorted to increasing taxes for the common people. This made people even more furious. The French society of the time was strongly divided in terms of the old feudal system of classes or estates. There were three broad divisions. The first estate consisted of clergymen, the priestly class. The second estate comprised of the nobility. And the third estate was the common folk, comprising peasants, artisans, landless, laborers, servants, lawyers, doctors, administrative officials, traders, etc. But though the peasants made up 90% of the population, very few of them owned the land they tilled, which is mostly owned by the church and the nobility. At the same time, they were called in to pay taxes and fund the king's wars and extravagant lifestyle. The third estate had already been reeling under pressure from a series of taxes that they had to pay. The taxes imposed were of three kinds. First, the feudal dues to the feudal lords with services rendered like working in the house and fields or serving in the army, building roads, etc. The second, known as tithes, were paid to the church. And the third, the thigh, a direct tax was paid by all members of the third estate. The problems went beyond taxes too. Through the 18th century, the production of grains could not keep up with the increased demands of the growing population in France. As a result, the price of bread, which was a staple food, rose rapidly. It almost became unaffordable for people to buy bread. Things only became worse whenever a drought or hail reduced the harvest, leading to a crisis of subsistence. By the 1770s, this was a common occurrence. Even while all this was happening, the society itself was changing. The 18th century was also a time when a new social group termed the middle class emerged in France. Thanks to the growing presence of France as an imperial trading power, a new class of merchants, traders and manufacturers of goods such as wool and silk were emerging. This new middle class also included educated lawyers and administrative officials who were self-made people who believed that social positions must depend on merit and not on privilege of birth. Among them were also a new group of thinkers and philosophers who were writing about an exciting new world. Philosophers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau put forth the ideas of a society based on freedom and equal laws and opportunities for all. In fact, these notions of equality and freedom emerged as the central ideas of a new age inspiring the French middle class. So when Louis XVI planned to impose more taxes, he was stirring up a storm that had been brewing for some time. The stage was thus set for a revolution. Here's a quick recap of what we have learned.